And who am I
Good
talking
evening.
to?
Bharat's my name.
And tell,
Bharat. Pardon?
tell us how you got involved with the Nanda Margaret initiation. Why?
It was a bunch of friends. We were living in a flat in Auckland, and we were university students.
What year?
And for some, pardon?
Which year?
Oh, I wouldn't have a clue. 55 years ago, a long time ago.
Okay.
And I was very interested in the whole realm of spirituality. And at that time, there were a lot of different religious pathways in the marketplace, Children of God, Satya Sai Baba, the various apostolic groups. Hang on, never mind. So I was interested. I was interested in the idea of connecting with God. It feels sometimes a bit silly to say this, but and I had come to the conclusion through my modest studies that meditation was a strategy that seemed to have some credibility. So I had spent a weekend on an island in the Hauraki Gulf of New Zealand, attempting to meditate and fasting. And I was trying to use a Buddhist mantra, Om Mani Padme Om. And so I spent this weekend by myself at my auntie's house at the beach. And I tried to do this, and it wasn't very successful, but I stuck at it, and I ended up eating a bit of fruit off the fruit trees. I didn't totally fast for 2 days. And but the last meditation I attempted before I caught the ferry home from the island, I felt something happen that I couldn't explain, but it was positive, and I felt encouraged to pursue my interest in meditation. I was also had somehow got into a routine. I don't know why I learned about this, but I got into a routine of doing asanas every evening after. I was a young teacher at a high school. Every evening after school, and I would come home and do these asanas, and it would be like a totally clean break from my day's work, and I would come out of them like a new man and really refreshed. So I guess I had a few experiences in the meditation yoga field that encouraged me to consider looking at it in greater depth. The people that I noticed, I watched very carefully people who were involved in various, that I knew that got involved in various spiritual cults and religions and movements and things. And generally, I wasn't impressed because they seemed to have claimed to have had powerful spiritual experiences, but their behaviour didn't change. They were the same people. And I think in my own mind, I was thinking that my aspiration was to become a better version of myself in this process of meditation, yoga, and becoming the best version of me I could be. So I was attracted to the self-realization model. And I had read a little bit about it, and I'd read some of the same books that you have, and probably most people have. A lot of people have, like the autobiography of a yogi, and a few novels written by a strange German author called Hermann Hesse. I think it was Hermann Hesse. Never mind. So a friend of mine went to India to check out. A few people were doing this, going to India to check out, to look for spiritual guidance, look for a guru. It wasn't quite clear what people were thinking they were doing, but there was a passage of people that I knew who had gone or were going, had gone to India on a spiritual pilgrimage. And one particular friend had gone to India on a spiritual pilgrimage. And when he came home, apparently the pilgrimage wasn't especially successful, but he met an Anandamagacharya in Perth on his way back to New Zealand and took initiation. And when I saw him next, he was such a changed man that I found it a little bit scary, the extent to which he had changed from being a long-haired hippie, you might say. He was spruce and cleaned up and focused and clean and tidy and organised, and I was impressed. I didn't necessarily like it. I thought, I don't know whether I like the way he is necessarily, but something had definitely been going on that had some horsepower, and I was impressed. So I thought, well, I'll give this a shot. So when the same Acharya turned up in Auckland, along with a few others, we took initiation, and I started to meditate on a reasonably regular basis. And initially, I found the meditation process itself, it's in a foreign language. It's pretty strange. It's mumbo jumbo. It's different words. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, but I did it because that's what you were supposed to do. And I noticed a couple of things. It changed in me quite quickly. The first thing was I wasn't a good sleeper, and I started sleeping like a baby. The second thing, I used to loll around a bit in the mornings and the weekends. Wasn't in a hurry to get up, but once I started meditating, I was keen to get up, start the new day, and looking forward to the day. So I felt positive and really optimistic for some reason, and I was probably the happiest young version of me that I'd been in a long, long time. So I was kind of impressed by, it worked. It changed my life. It made me a better person, a happier person. And so I got involved in the life and the mission of Anandamaga bit by bit, rather quickly, actually, leaving school and becoming a full-time worker, or trying to be, keeping a house, renting a house that looked after for Margies to stay in, and teaching meditation and the whole 9 yards. And I was pretty inspired. And then I did LFT training in Sydney. My wife and I, both of us, got involved together. Linda Sutapa was her name in those days. In fact, in the earliest days, my name was Satish, the first Marga name I got, and she got the name Saraswati. But for some reason, I don't recall the exact reason, I didn't like Satish. I'm not sure whether she likes Saraswati either, but we asked for a change, and I became Bharat and she became Sutapa. And we stuck with that basically to this day. The opportunity to visit Baba was of interest to me. When you're starting out the life on the spiritual path, you hear quite a lot of reference to the importance of devotion. And when you don't even know the person, you've never met him, it's like I had no idea what a guru was. I didn't have a clue. And possibly even now, I think Baba's a bit of a mystery. But at that stage, I didn't have a clue. But I knew that there was somebody who was supposed to be in charge and somehow responsible for what was happening. or had some involvement in what was happening. And at some stage after LFT training, I don't recall the exact situation, I got the opportunity to visit Baba. He was now out of jail. He was in Tildula, out of jail. I had several opportunities I took to go to India, and on one of them I got what was called PC, or personal contact. So getting to see him in India was, I'm hesitating and hesitant because I'm trying to find the right words. And what you're dealing with when you're talking about spiritual matters, you are basically talking about stuff that's an affair of the heart, really. And it's hard to find the right words to talk about some of these things. So I was apprehensive but interested, and I wondered. I guess I had all the apprehension of a normal human being, and I recall I went into this room. I don't remember exactly how I ended up being there, and Bubba was sitting on some sort of elevated platform, and I sat down and not far from him. And I remember the feeling when I walked into the room was kind of electric, might be a way to explain it. It felt special and mysterious and exotic and spiritual, all of those sorts of words. So Baba started, I don't remember exactly the sequence of events, but this is over 50 years, or probably 50 years more so ago. But he started asking me a bit about myself and my family, and the fact that I had a Croatian dad, a father, and an English or English mother. He was very interested in that, and I came to understand later that the Baba's idea on revolutionary marriages, he encouraged, as you would know, well, some Māoris will know, he encouraged marriage between people of different cultures and different ethnic groups, and he called them a revolutionary marriage. And I think it was his view, I presume, that he thought this would help with tolerance and understanding between people of different cultures and different races and different ethnicities. So he was very interested in the fact that I came from what he considered to be a marriage of sufficiently diverse origins to raise his attention. I noticed during the course of the conversation, somehow it was like the words were an excuse to transmit sweetness or bliss or love or a vibe or different words. But at some point in time, I noticed that Bub was leaning towards me and I was leaning towards him. And I actually think we might have stopped talking, and we were just, I was feeling love for this man whom I really never seen before in my life, really. I was feeling this warmth gushing out of me towards him. And the more I felt it towards him, it seemed the more he felt it towards me, and the more he gave it to me, the more it was like a reciprocity of love, I suppose. And I kind of, looking back on it, I come to the conclusion that we were both blissing out, you might say. He was blissing out on me, and I was blissing out on him. And later I came to understand that we may worship our guru, but he worships us. He's there for us. And That was kind of nice. And at some stage, he encouraged me to devote my life to the welfare of people who are disadvantaged. I don't remember the exact language. And I did, even though I became disenchanted at a later date, I did take that recommendation to heart, and I did follow it up in the course of my life as a school teacher. But that's more or less my memory of it. I do remember getting back to Australia where I was living at the time and meeting somebody who asked me, that's right, a person I knew. So I was at Nandapali when I went there. Okay, so and it was a farmer I knew, and he knew I'd gone to India to see Baba. And he asked me, he said, did you feel like you were in the presence of a really powerful man? And I said, no, I felt I was in the presence of somebody who was a very loving. I felt it was I just felt love and sweetness. I didn't feel any horsepower. I just felt awash with love and sweetness. And so the power that he had was the power of love. And this is one of the things that I have learned one way or another in the course of my life as a yogi, that after all the ho-ha about what we should or shouldn't do and how we should behave, and that love is the magic potion. It's love that solves all of our problems. It melts our samskaras. It's the vehicle. It makes life worth living. And when you get in touch with, sorry?
I said true.
Okay, yeah, so so that was really my experience with Baba
So sweet and loving.
in Australia. I have had, it's just, words fail me, but for people who have experience, they'll know what I'm talking about. But it's my realization that Baba created, this is not necessarily ideologically correct or otherwise, but that he created the Marga because he was full of love and he wanted some people to give love to. He wanted people that he was exploding with this cosmic love, and he needed, and, in some way I have, in the course of following up his spiritual practices that he teaches, at some stage in my life, I experienced some period of time where I felt like I was swimming in love. I was awash with love, that love came from everywhere. It was in my heart, and the world was just a big ocean of love. And I imagined, and I don't know whether I imagined correctly, but I imagined that that's possibly how Baba was all the time, just living in this ocean of love and looking for opportunities to give it to human beings and to help human beings. Yeah. In the last few years of my life, after being what you might call a reluctant yogi, I have got back into meditation in a big way in the last couple of years. And I have a boat, and I go boating, and I go fishing, and that's part of my culture and way of life. And on the boat, I have a little spot at the front where I do my meditation. And I do it, I like it. I like doing meditation. And at some stage during this spiritual rebirth that I was going through, which I referenced as being wall-to-wall love, omnidirectional, omnipresent. This is a spiritual experience, and feeling drunk on love and wandering around feeling like the world was full of love and wanting to love everybody and making a fool of myself, telling people I love them. And they looked at me like, but so I'm doing Guru Puja on my little bed, and I can't kneel very well because I've got gammy knees, but so I'm just sitting there doing Guru Puja. And I'm mindful at times that some of the stuff we do in our spiritual lives is a ritual and a habit, and that sometimes we can do it just automatically without our heart and mind being in it. And so I'm doing Guru Puja, and I thought, oh, I'm really focused on the meaning of Guru Puja and the feeling of Guru Puja, trying to concentrate for the whole 3 cycles of Guru Puja that I'm ideating, and I'm seeing Baba. And this has never happened before, but Baba actually appeared at the end of my bed. He physically, with my eyes, I could see not a spiritual thing inside your head, but I could actually see this person sitting there at the end of my bed. I could see his shape, his clothing, the white robes. His head was just a luminous, sort of vague humanoid shape, but it was luminous and glowing and sweet. And he was just sitting there, and I remember sitting there going, "Wow, what's this?" I mean, I was touched, and I felt honoured. I felt honoured and privileged, and grateful, deeply grateful.
Wow.
My Dada Sumitananda, I came along to support him at a public meeting at the local Theosophy Society hall, Theosophy Society. And at some point in time, he said, okay, I think my name might have been Satish or whatever it was then, maybe it was Bharat. He said, okay, I'm going to, so-and-so, Satish, will explain this to you, how to do this and this and this. And I'm sitting at the back of the hall, sick as a dog. I got a cold, runny nose, sore throat, and I thought I'm supposed to be talking about the health benefits of yoga. I like this. So, but anyhow, I went up onto the stage and did what I'd been taught to do at a retreat once, was to try and meditate and let Baba flow through you, talk through you. And I'd never been, I couldn't do it at the retreat. I was useless at it. But here I tried. I'm standing up the front, so I meditate, and the symptoms, they just all totally vanished. The sniffle gone, the sore throat went. I was I was totally healed just in the presentation. And I remember Linda Sutapa saying after that it was a bit freaky hearing what I had to say, because she said it felt like you were channeling. It didn't seem like the person she knew. Baba was talking through me, or somehow finding a way of working through me. And I had another occasion a bit like that some years later when I was in LFT in, where was it? In Brisbane. It was in Brisbane. And I was really crook. I got something which you seem to get when you're going through high-speed growth, burning through lots of samskara. So that's what it was said. I was explained to me, and I don't know whether I believe that or not. But anyhow, I was crook as a dog and had a high fever. It was about 104 degrees, and somehow I knew that above that temperature, you started getting brain damage. And for some reason, I'm a bit grumpy about this. I don't want to get it any hotter, and I don't want brain damage. So I don't remember the exact sequence of events, but I got into meditating, and I didn't stop meditating until the fever was gone and everything. I was right as rain. Everything was over and there was no relapse. The symptoms didn't come back. And I don't know what the outcome of it was, but I know that night at DC, my talk was about what had just happened an hour or so before to me, and people did seem to find it pretty inspiring. And I mean, I found it a bit inspiring too. Yes. So I have had some experiences of healing through Baba. Yes.